We're here at Light Reading's NFV and Carrier SDN event in Denver. I'm with Vikram from NETSCOUT. Hello Vikram, how are you?
Hi Phil,
Good to
be here.
Great to see you. One of the big topics we've been talking about at this show is a challenge that carriers have when their enterprise customers are all pursuing multi-cloud environments. How is that sort of happening in the industry, or sort of what are you observing as we sort of look at that trend, and then maybe we could talk a little bit about some of the challenges that service providers are seeing as that presents itself.
Okay, good. As you said, I think this is a very central topic in the industry these days. And when you look at enterprise, if you go back to the traditional model, the headquarters, the remote sites, they all were connected on MPLS, and pretty much all their applications were in the central data center.
Right.
It was a fairly static model, and it was easy to build, connectivity and bandwidth and QoS and all that.
Right, yeah.
So what is changing now is that as applications are getting more and more agile, in the sense that they are being extended, they are being augmented, and not only that, they're being broken up from a monolithic architecture into microservices.
Yeah.
And the reason why that's happening is they want to distribute these applications. They want certain key aspects of the applications to reside in their own data center, some aspects that can be put into a public cloud. Some can even run on a CPE, like a universal CPE on the site, right? Mm-hmm. So if you look at all of these things, they're distributed model, microservices, pieces running in data centers, private cloud, public cloud, UCPE. How do you network, manage, and connect and assure applications? I think that's the fundamental challenge that we are seeing in the industry, because it's suddenly gone from a centralized, static, monolithic model to a distributed microservices, cloud native, multi-cloud, distributed architecture.
It's incredibly challenging.
It's incredibly challenging.
Well, and it's interesting too, because the assurance part of that is a big deal, because we're not just dealing with losing a photo here or an email here if something doesn't sync properly.
Exactly.
But in that environment, if you lose any amount of data, you're talking revenue and really important things.
Yeah.
How do companies and carriers, what can they do in their architecture to enable that multi-cloud environment to work, and to enable that visibility that you were talking about?
Yeah, very good question. So I think, to me, what it seems is operators need to shift their paradigm from being a connectivity provider. So because when the applications are static and monolithic, the focus is not on the application but the network, because you want the network to behave in a certain way, because the applications are all running in one place and fairly static.
Right.
But now, what the operators are doing through their services is to ensure the application level experience to be seamless, non-disruptive, and in this agile environment, make sure that the enterprise customers get exactly the behavior that they expect to see in the network. Therefore, the focus of operator assurance has to move from network assurance to application assurance, because that's what the enterprise customers really care about. When you're talking about microservices that are distributed in multi-cloud, you're really talking about delivering the right kind of application experience. So the shift that has to happen when you think about assurance is operators have to think, how do I deliver application level experience, which requires visibility up to layer 7, not just layer 2 and 3.
Right.
And this is where I think tools and technologies that they're used to when they were just doing layer 3 or layer 2 assurance have to evolve from a visibility and assurance point of view to address layer 7 aspects of the technology.
So it's that deeper layer of visibility.
Yes.
And what technologies sort of enable them to do that?
Yeah. So one of the things that we specialize in exactly that layer 7 visibility, and what we are telling our customers is that we can provide you lightweight visibility in a UCPE type small cloud, We can provide visibility in public cloud where your applications are running by sitting adjacent to the application, and then we can cover your SD-WAN part of your network and your, of course, your data center. And all of these give you layer 7 visibility across this distributed model, and all of this data then has to be correlated at a central point through a single pane of glass. So from an operator point of view, no matter how the applications are moving around or being agile, they always have a consistent end-to-end view. And the technologies that we are bringing in, whether they are NFV technologies or containerized technologies or other kinds of software instrumentation technologies, you can put it all together in this hybrid multi-cloud approach and give you layer 7 visibility.
And how do you see that task on the service provider's point of view changing as we move to 5G networks? Suddenly we're enabling a different level of bandwidth and connectivity, and of course being able to run those applications. I would expect that the applications would become even more distributed then, because suddenly you'd be able to run bigger and bigger stacks on different mobile devices, right?
Yeah. So mobile multi-cloud is a different paradigm than what we're talking about on the enterprise side. So in mobile networks, typically the services were centralized in the core. There was the evolved packet core, which terminates user sessions, and then you provide IMS services, video services, all from the core of the network. What 5G is doing is basically distributing it out, the service architecture, to edge compute or edge clouds, which will be hundreds of central offices that are being converted, sitting behind the radio access network, and distributing the user plane, control plane, and the applications at the same time into these edge and core. So the challenge there is, how do you look across your control plane and user plane metrics and be able to look at hosted applications and to be able to provide them, again, a single pane of glass view through these, not just connectivity and the session layer data, but also application layer data. The network looks different because you have hundreds of edge nodes and a few core nodes, and then you have hosted applications in these edge nodes and control and user plane distributed everywhere. So it's a different architecture than the enterprise one, but the challenges are somewhat similar. But you again need layer 7 visibility no matter what, because if you're hosting a autonomous vehicle application or a AR/VR application which is sensitive to latency, you need to be able to compute those metrics.
Right, and then find out exactly what how the application's behaving, and then that gets you back to what service providers really want, is providing a better user experience all the way around.
Correct.
No matter what.
Yeah, that's key, because without the good user experience, they're not going to be able to enable new applications.
Right.
And without new applications, the new ARPU is not going to come, because they're not going to build 5G for the same applications that are running on 4G.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So they need to be able to stimulate an environment of innovation where new applications can be created.
All right. Fantastic, Vikram. Thanks so much for speaking with us today. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity.